Hello everyone, welcome to the first episode of Hellman's Kitchen. Today I'm going to show you how to cook a plant-based pesto pasta. Delicious, especially if you're not too keen on dairy, makes you feel a little lethargic around the house or, upsets your stomach or whatever the case may be. This is a perfect recipe for you to enjoy that pesto flavor without the dairy portion or the Parmesan cheese involved in it, right? We're also going to use a chickpea pasta, a little higher in protein. Delicious. Stick around for a good recipe. If you want more recipes like this, subscribe, like, and click the notification button for Hellman's Kitchen. For this recipe, we're going to use about a half cup of roasted cashews. Just going to soak them in water, just enough till they're filled up. Soak them for about an hour or so, just to help blend through that processor a lot easier. All right, we're going to go ahead and prep our garlic right now. Something my grandmother, who's full-on Italian, taught me at a very young age, is that you measure with your heart, especially when it comes to garlic. So in my eyes, you can't use enough garlic. Runs through my veins as an Italian American. So we're gonna use 3 cloves for this recipe, but use however much you feel like. We're gonna try to attempt a trick that an old friend and coastie cookmate showed me a long time ago. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But the trick is basically so you don't have to peel all this junk off. It takes a long time to get your fingernails all sticky or whatever the issue you have with it. I don't know, it's just kind of a fun thing to do too. Sometimes you look a little crazy doing it, if it doesn't work especially. So we'll hope it works. But basically just cut the stem butt off it. You still got all the shells and the skin on it, right? Toss it in. I got a bunch of these mason jars because my wife has a bunch of, about 1,000 of them. Close it up. Basically use anything glass or ceramic, something hard. Plastic Tupperware might not work as well. All right, now it's in here. We're gonna shake it as hard as you can. And this should take all the skins off. Oh, it worked on 3 out of 4 of them. So not too bad, right? We'll just peel this off real easy. All right, now we got our nice shallot here, which is, I like to think of it if a red onion and a garlic had a baby. That spice and flavor to it's just delicious. So we're gonna cut both ends off, cut it in half, peel the skin off, and that should be it because we're gonna throw it in the processor blender. If you don't have either, you can mince it up too and just toss it all together. All right, so now we're gonna get some basil out here. Another Italian delicacy, delicious. My time cooking in the Coast Guard for a few years, serving a couple hundred sailors at a time. If I were to do this recipe for them, we'd probably, we'd have to call up some of my old cousins from the old country in Italy or something, I guess, because this would not be enough basil, that's for sure. So we can throw in about a cup and a quarter of this basil. Just pack it real deep in here. This is just a cup. I'm just gonna overpack it. If you use too much or too little, that's fine. Do it to taste to some extent too. Now we're gonna get all of our ingredients together because we're about to throw it into a food processor if you have one. If you don't, use a NutriBullet or a blender or anything like that. Works the same, just fine. If you don't have either of those, you can mince everything up as fine as you can get it and just toss it together. Done it a bunch of times, comes out fine. It's a little grittier and chunkier, but honestly, it's pretty good. It's kind of like chunky salsa if you think about it. Now that we have all of our ingredients together, we're gonna pour it all into the food processor if you have one, or your NutriBullet, your blender, your Ninja, whatever you're working with. Or you're gonna be a little bit of a badass, you're gonna be mincing everything up and combining it in a big mixing bowl. I don't know, maybe you're cursing me out a little bit, but it shouldn't be too much to cut up either way. If you don't have that blender with the cashews, stick it in a bowl or something and just crush it up with whatever you got. If it's an end of a spoon or or you got a mallet, throw some paper towels over it and just smash them together. Also, a reminder: subscribe to my channel if you want to hear more of me talking. I don't know, I like to hear myself talk. Hopefully you do too. Either way. And if I was making this recipe on my ship back in the Coast Guard, I'd have to do a lot more because I'm feeding 200 people. We only had one little blender on the ship too, so I'd be doing this about 10 times over. But either way, it was always a crowd favorite. So I hope you enjoy it too. Now for this part, I'm gonna need my wife's help.
The next step is to fold in the pesto.
What do you mean fold it in?
I don't know, you just fold it in.
That's just a little shout out to Schitt's Creek, one of our favorite shows. Gotta love Moira Rose. If you stuck with us this far, thanks for sticking with me on my first episode of Hellman's Kitchen. Click the subscribe, like, and select the notifications for the YouTube channel to see more weekly recipes like this one. As my grandmother would say, salud. I'm gonna take a bite here. That's delicious. Cheers, I'll see you next week.